up, guys? What is up? We've got a heck of an episode again for you this week. We, it's been a crazy week for me, and I know for Norman, and definitely for our guests that we got on tonight. But guys, if you don't know, I'm Colin Burnett.
And I'm Norman Lee. That's what I call it. We have an awesome show lined up for tonight. But first, we have to talk about our sponsor for this evening's podcast. You know what? This episode of the Deck Talk Podcast is brought to you by FireFly Outdoor and Marine, the #1 navigational lights on the water. What separates FireFly from all the rest? Well, first, we have to talk about their globe, a high-quality, innovative, infracting plastic exclusive to FireFly, reducing glare by over 95%, cutting down eye blindness that you receive with other typical LED lights, giving you the perception as if you are fishing under a full moon. They're offered in a camo, diamond, and a flake series, as well as a junior diamond series for smaller applications. Also, check out their new Shore Stacker box, making nighttime bank and surf fishing more enjoyable. Plus, they're all newly released tep suits and their Mizu foul weather bibs and jackets. Be seen with FireFly. Go to www.fireflymarine.com. Don't forget, make sure to use that discount code DECktop10. Again, that is fireflymarine.com. Don't forget, use that discount code DECktop10.
That's right, man. And I tell you, you go to fireflymarine.com, use that discount code. I guarantee you that you will not be disappointed in that light. Norman and myself use it. We've got a bunch of buddies that have gotten gotten the lights, and every one of them has thoroughly loved this light. We've actually had some people that's contacted us saying, "Hey, I actually broke my light. I need the information to get some fireflies," and we got them in contact with our guest today. So, but if you don't know, we have our very first Norman guy coming on for the second time, the very first repeat. That's right. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Chad Watts from FireFly Marine. What do you know, brother?
What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, guys?
Man, we just...
I mean, the myth and the legend, we can just turn this off right now.
This is a fishing podcast, so things kind of have to be exaggerated, right?
But you've been busy there at the FireFly shop, Jim. I gave you a call the other day to talk with you a little bit, and you didn't know what end was coming or going.
No, it's been crazy. I mean, God's just blessing FireFly, and we're just so thankful. We have a lot of new dealers, and the longer we go, the more people out there realize FireFly, and so it's starting to gain a lot of traction, and we're just shipping like crazy.
Man, that's awesome.
Well, let's talk a little bit. I mean, everybody knows about you all right?
Yeah.
His earbud fell out.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about your lights and stuff. So while we're kind of on the light aspect of fireflies, can you tell everybody, just do like a Cliff Note version of the lights and maybe the colors and stuff like that, and so everybody can kind of, because I don't want this all to be on the lights, because we got other stuff that we really want to hit.
Sure. Yeah. We have 3 different series. Actually, we have 4 now that we have our new FireFly Juniors. And those FireFly Juniors are only in the silver diamond and the black diamond. They collapse to 3 foot, and they extend to 5 foot, which is about where most normal lights are, usually 48 inches and less, but these are 5 foot. And it still carries our same refracting plastic. So if you live in a place that has a lot of bridges and they're low lying, or if you just tournament fish or, really don't get out at nighttime a whole lot, those are perfect. But then we have our Diamond Series and we have our Flake Series. Our Diamond Series has four colors: a silver, a red, a black, and a blue. And then we have our Flake Series, which has seven colors: the black, red, gray, yellow, orange, green, and so there's seven colors there. So we've got 12 different colors across four different series, bow and stern, so they'll all match. And so, yeah, so it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
also,
I
what
was
about
just,
the camouflage?
Yeah, golly, I guess we got five series now. I forgot about the camouflage. We've got our own camouflage pattern, and we call it grassy sage. It's got some a little hints of green here and there, and you see, but most of it's just a sagebrush, uh, cattail type look to it, and oh my goodness, we've gone through a lot of those just in the last probably 2 weeks between all the duck hunters and guys that run camo routes or 10 units that are camo. There, it's becoming to be a big deal.
yeah, and
Yeah.
one of the things I like
Well,
too in the Flake and Diamond series, Chad, is unlike all the other, I guess you say, other brands on the market, you're the only Firefly's the only one that actually their anchor lights or their stern lights. Now I know in most states your stern light has to be the
Three
see from
point
360 degrees around the boat. So your
right.
stern light is the only light that actually will extend from or telescope from 5 foot to 9 foot 3, which will
9 foot 4.
nine
Yeah, it's
foot
9 foot 4.
which
Yeah.
will
Uh-huh.
put it above any T top or any bimini top if you run a boat with a T top or bimini top on it. A lot of bay boats they have T tops, and there's not a anchor light on the market that has one that'll actually extend above any regular T top. So
Yeah, there's
yes,
several things. When we went in to build this thing, we had to change so many things, or we'd have just built another navigation light. Yeah, I mean that's all we would have done, and there's so many of them out there. But so we're the only ones that build them out of carbon fiber. We're
yeah,
the only ones that go to 9 foot 4. We're the only ones that offers color, and we have I guess 13 colors really with our camo, and we're the only ones that have ended the blinding light. And so, nothing had changed since 1927, and
Yeah, that was crazy when you told us that.
that's the last time that a patent had been given on a navigational light until ours. And now we hold full patents on the bow and stern light, both non provisional mechanical patents and design patents, because we were the only ones. It's the only time it's changed. So we're really proud of how that product just turned out and is performing
Oh yeah.
exceptionally well in the field.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I really like about it, that it's kind of more or less just personal preference and stuff like that. But um, every other stern light is all just that chrome color, to where now you've got all these assorted colors and stuff that you can, and like there, we've got some guys that's on this podcast right now, guys, that is OCD like crazy and has got to match everything.
I'm not
And
the only one on the podcast. I think Chad will admit to that.
I mean,
Yeah.
both the other two
Well,
guys that's on it. This
well,
guy
I
right
mean,
here is the oddball. I have a charcoal and red boat, and I've
yeah,
got the green.
I shook my head for a week after you got that thing, but I figured everybody was like me because I am extremely OCD as far as I like everything to match and to color coordinate, and so we throw all those colors out there, and it's been a big hit. So, and I'm
Yeah.
glad because it makes a difference.
And it really does. And to like when I got those the green ones and stuff, and you just kind of looked at me like I was crazy. And I told you then is like I just want people to recognize it because they're going to catch something that is it does not match. It's going to catch people's eyes, and it has. And I've been able to talk to people and be able to bring people into uh, that's going, hopefully buying them or has bought some. I don't know. I mean, we've talked to so many people and but it's done the job that I feel like that's another way that if I'm just out there fishing and they see a bright green pole and at the back of my boat, they're going to be like, "What the crap is that?"
Yeah,
Colin
that's what I'd be saying.
did that for a reason, though. He was trying to represent the FireFly slogan, and he's really represented it pretty well by getting the colors he got matching with the blue scene.
Hey,
Because
we
he's
want
being
to be seen.
with them colors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, guys, the colors on it and the durability, Chad, has been phenomenal. Well, I think what you said that it was y'all have gotten because people look at it and they see the carbon fiber and stuff like that, and they're like, "All right, what is it like? All right, can I go 70 mile an hour on the boat?" And
Yeah, yeah, and here's the thing: we overbuilt them. First of all, carbon fiber. If I built the same spec of pole in steel or aluminum, the carbon fiber is going to be stronger.
yeah,
And we put what's called a U700 TB. It's an ultra thin carbon fiber fabric, but it's laid on the mandrel first at a 0 degree of direction. And then we lay our finished 2 layers of carbon fiber fabric, what you're used to seeing when you see carbon fiber, the black, all that kind of stuff. We lay that on there at 2 different degrees of angle opposite of that 0 degree, and it makes it extremely strong. We've had them fully extended in a bass cat boat, repowered with the 300R, and it went 85 miles an hour, and it just almost lays back there on the crawling of your motor. It's just, I mean, it just lay back there. So they're extremely strong. They're not going to tear them up and break them just by speed of the boat.
And they're not, and being that they're carbon fiber, most of your, or probably all of your other companies, even your, and without mentioning any names, because we definitely don't want to do that, but I've used, before I started using FireFly, I used a couple of the more popular name brands, and the one problem I always seen with them, because they're aluminum pole, is I've creased them. I mean, I've creased to the point where they bend and crease. And that will absolutely not happen because of the carbon fiber. The way the fiber.
It'll flex if you run too close to the bank, like I'm bad for doing. If I'm searching for fish and I'm just covering a lot of water, I have a tendency that I always have. I just tuck in pretty close to the bank and start going, and I forget about all those overhanging limbs.
Exactly.
And before you know it, I hear something back there and I look, and it's folded way down, and then it comes popping back up. So yeah.
Yeah, we've done that a time or two also. Michael Wendell says, "Does it come in a purple to match?" I can't tell. He put an emoji on it, and it's so small I can't tell what it is.
Matches. I think he has a bass cat, I believe. If I'm correct,
that might be what it is. I was gonna say it's either a deer or.
He has a purple and white boat, and more purple.
Yeah. So, well, the way I generally tell anybody, two things. One, no, I'm sorry, we don't have purple. But and I had a lot of people from Louisiana ask me to do that, and I'm like, well, I hope y'all have a lot of buddies to justify doing a purple, but I always go with the accent color. Whatever color is the least on the boat, that's the color you match, because it'll make it pop. So if the least color you have is white, use white. If you have purple, use black.
I believe Michael's boat is white and purple, and that white, Michael, will look sharp on your boat.
Yeah. And that one's got metal flake in it, so when the sun hits it, it's going to pop everywhere.
Well, if it's purple and black, I was thinking white, but black. That black, Michael, that black diamond series that
Yeah.
Diamond Series, and you and I know Michael's sort of like me. He likes to actually look spiffy on the water. Tell you
Yeah.
what, Black Diamond Series, Michael, that will that will bling out on that black and purple boat ears.
There's no doubt,
It's
and
almost
and I agree with Michael. If
yeah,
you look good, you fish good. I mean, that's just all.
exactly.
Hey, all I gotta say is, Michael, we need to see what that boat looks like in person and out on the water. So, we can help you decide what color it is once we get out on the water with you.
Yeah.
We'll give it a test run next July, Michael.
He said Norman is thinking of Ike's boat, but yeah, that's, to me, that was one thing that I was is the durability also on it. Um, because I mean, I've had it and it's easy stowed. I mean, it fits into any rod locker, um, and like I've had it down in the bottom of my rod locker, and I've like dropped rods and stuff on it, and it don't do anything. I mean, it holds up, and then which my boat don't go 70 mile an hour, but Norman's boat will, and we've had it on there, and we've seen it just kind of just bowing over as it gets going, and then once he slows down, it just pops right back up. And
One of
so,
the things that impressed me was the inflecting plastic that the gloves are made out of, Chad. And now Chad will be able to explain a little bit more, but that design process on the gloves, Chad, alone was like a 5-year process to be able to come up with the exact uh,
it
on the
it
gloves.
took it took about 6 engineers and myself. I always throw myself in there like I was some kind of scientist or something. But it went through a lot of approval processes, and it took 3.5 years to actually get that process honed in. Then we had to start working on angles inside it. But when you look inside that globe, it just looks like a round globe, but it's really not. And it took so long. I was wondering if we were ever going to get it and be able to take it to market, because that was that was some kind of underdoing there.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, how did you how did you come up with the Firefly? Like,
Tell us a little bit about the logo and the logo, how it actually basically, if you look at it, it's actually a firefly.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
and it was uh, well. We even cloned our bow lights out of that FireFly plug. If you take a look online sometime and you look at a Firefly in flight, they hang more down in there, but their eyes are level. It's really wild. And I found one and I sent it to my CAD guy and I said, "Hey, we need to this. This is what one looks like in flight." And so he drew it out on his CAD system, copied that picture, and then that's how we built our bow light. It comes from the way they look,
right.
and so. But we just felt like, it was a lighting deal. It was outside. You see them a lot at nighttime. We thought, how fitting that would be, and so we have wrapped around, and it's real easy for everybody to remember Firefly. I mean, as a
Yeah.
kid, who hadn't put them in a can or a jar or hold them in your hand and look at them and watch them light? So that's kind of the way we did it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like when you look at your bow lights, it is. Let's see. I don't know. I think I have it in my boat still. My boat is actually a buddy of mine's got it because he's getting a new hull. He got a crack in his hull, so I
Oh
think
no.
I know I left the stern light in there. But if the stern light, I think Norman's got. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do.
I brought the bow light in, talking about the way the
If
fire.
you
There's
stand if you stand it straight up and down, That's the way a FireFly. We took a picture and just traced it right onto the CAD system, and there it is. That's what one looks like flying. If you added wings to it, there you go.
Yeah.
That's your red and green. Then on the back side, explain this, Chad, a little bit. This is your courtesy light. Now I tell you
It
what,
is.
with the push button on off switch, that the push button on off switch lights up as well, so you can find it at night. But I love this. You know, you show up at the boat ramp first thing in the morning, waiting to launch for the tournament. Have one last lure you want to tie on. Man, this thing is so impressive. Uh, and again, just like the stern and your bow light, there's absolutely no glare because of the infractant plastic that's made out of. So it doesn't blind you. A lot of your courtesy lights, actually, when you're trying to tie lures with your regular LEDs, they'll still blind you. They still come up and blind your face. Where this actually shows the light where it needs to show it, down where you're tying it, and it doesn't extend the light up towards where you're looking down to. So that's one of
Yeah,
the cool features about that is just the courtesy light on it and how it works as well.
yeah. We moved that refracting plastic once we got it set for our stern light. We moved that plastic, the refracting plastic forward to our bow light, and it became, if you're coming down the lake and one of those lights are facing you, our red or green light, it's not blinding you. If you need to unhook a fish, if you need to retie, if you need to get a backlash out, you can just flip that on, do what you need to do, turn it off, and not lose that night vision, and just go right back to fishing. So it's a courtesy light that actually works.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but with that being said, guys, you do need to go, and here's the website again, fireflymarine.com. Use the discount codes. Again, you will not be disappointed. I guarantee you're going to be like, man, why didn't I grab this prior to this? I mean, it really helps out with, like, when you're out there, just being able to see, like, if you've ever fished underneath the full moon, and now you don't have to wait for that time of the month to come around to where the full moon's coming through. You have a full moon with you at all times, and I mean, the what Norman and I we try to tell everybody, Chad, is like you could literally count the rocks and stuff on the bank as you're going down it,
Yep.
it's it's not like it's a bright light like a spotlight or nothing like that, but it just that refracting globe. I mean, it just illuminates around you to where
It is. It makes you look around and wonder where the light's coming from. But I had an experience. I was telling some people this weekend. I fish this one bank every time I go to this lake. I always go to this bank, and it's an inconspicuous bank. But every time I go, I'll catch two or three bass there. And so I went at nighttime one time. I thought, well, I'm gonna go down that bank, and you always wonder why this bank is holding fish. I couldn't figure it out. Even when I look at my live scope or 360, I mean, there's just nothing there. And until you get about 2 foot off the bank, this light will penetrate. If the water's shallow within 2 or 3 foot, it'll penetrate the water enough where you can see if you're looking right beside of you. And there was big, massive stumps with roots and boulder rocks, and I thought that's why. And all this time, I would have never known had I not gone there with this light at nighttime. I'd have never known.
yeah.
It's impressive.
So let's kind of get away from the lights if you don't mind.
Sure.
Let's talk about um some of the stuff that with it being fall time, getting into the winter, and let's talk about trying being out there and wanting to be warm while you're out there. How has Firefly uh, gone into that avenue and been able is now able to help out the fishermen to be able to stay warmer and stay comfortable out and really and
And stay dry.
20-degree weather and still be warm out there.
And stay dry
Well,
as well.
yeah, and boy, this is going to be a talk here, because when we got those lights, we thought, okay, what's next for FireFly? And I thought, well, there's some other things in lighting that we could do, but what's most important? And uh, I don't know. I guarantee you guys and the viewers and listeners of Deck Talk probably understand, when you see guys fishing in January and February, when tournament season usually starts up like the second or third week of January. Some of these guys got every piece of clothing in their closet on, and they
Norman.
come they come to the weigh-in, and they look like they weigh 400 pounds, and their rain suits are dragging the pavement underneath their boot, and they're just shuffling along. And I thought, I'm cold natured anyway. So what we did is we went in and we built a TEP suit, which is a base layer 5 millimeter neoprene suit, but it's also got felt lining through the whole thing. But it will remind you of a wetsuit, but all the features have changed off of it, as far as we put zipper behind the cuff and zipper behind the heel that are, just 5 inches long. But then we took a zipper from the left collar and we went all the way to the crotch with it. So, and we put a two-way YKK zipper on there. So that way, if you got to go to the bathroom during the day, you ain't got to try to figure out how to come out of everything just to go to the
Exactly.
bathroom. So we did that. So what happens is, this base layer suit, you put that on, and I put a hoodie on, just a regular hoodie over top of the top. I pull my bibs on and put my jacket on. If it's 20 degrees outside and I'm doing 75 miles an hour down the lake, I will not feel any of it whatsoever, nothing. But neoprene is naturally buoyant. It's not a life preserver system, but it is naturally buoyant. I was told I had to put it that way. Uh, so what happens is, if you fall in the water with your standard rain suit on, or all those clothes on, if you get back in the boat, you count yourself lucky.
Yeah.
But you're definitely going to have a visit to the hospital, because hypothermia is going to set in.
Exactly.
With this system, it keeps all that away from you. It insulates it from you. And then when I get back into the boat, I'm going to change my hoodie, and I'm going to change my socks and shoes, and I'm going to go on back to fishing the rest of the day. When you add our Mizu foul weather gear, uh, which is a full neoprene suit, but it also has a nylon insulating factor on the outside, along with thermal felt on the inside, and the entire suit has got that in it. So it's a 3 millimeter. So between the two, you got 8 millimeter neoprene and 2 layers of thermal felt and a layer of nylon fabric on the outside. It's, I mean, you literally, I don't care how cold it gets you. You can even use those TEP suits if you're a deer hunter. Put it on, put your camouflage coveralls on, go sit in the stand all day when it's 10 degrees outside, and you can sit there all day long. You won't feel that cold. You'll feel it on your head and your hands, but you're not going to feel it on your body. It's going to keep that core warm. But it being neoprene and the way we built them, it is tight to your body. Not so tight that you can't. You can still raise your hands and squat and do all that kind of stuff. But it acts like a compression sock. So at the end of the day of cold weather activity, whether it's in the tree stand or if you're on the front bow of a boat, you're not going to be fatigued when you get in. You can be there all day long and take it off, and you don't feel near as tired as you would as if you were trying to fight the cold all day.
Right. Now, can you told us a story about when you had like uh, like when you were trying to figure things out and you finally got it sort of figured out and you went fishing out in it. Um, can you tell us a story about that and people then what people thought when you got back and when you actually done like you lifted it out and
Yeah, it was crazy. There was about 63 boats in that tournament, and it was cold, guys. I mean, it's cold as real. And I had taken my jacket off because, I was extremely comfortable, but it was in the low 20s, and I took my jacket off, just had my bibs and my hoodie on, and they're like, everybody was about to freeze to death. I mean, it was just really bad, and they're like, "Man, are you crazy or something? I mean, have you been out on the water drinking or something? I mean, why are you not about froze to death?" And I said, "Well, I've got my temp suit on. I don't feel this." And I reached up there and grabbed my collar, and I lifted away, and steam just rolled out from out the top of the temp suit. And they're like, "Is it heated?" And I said, "No, it's not that this thing has got heat generated. It's held my body heat in, and it's just so cold outside it made steam." And they just couldn't believe it. I think I sold four on that boat ramp
Oh, I
that day.
guarantee it. Guarantee it. So now we got a question, and I think you kind of already hit it. They said does the tep suit it fits underneath any kind of your clothing, right?
Yeah, I've even put it. I went to a game, and it was outside, and I had my tech suit on. I put my jeans and a hoodie on, and you wouldn't know I had it on. It's 5 millimeter in neoprene is thick. I mean, it's thick, but 5 millimeter. I mean, it's just it's just yay thick, but it's but in the world of neoprene, that's a thick neoprene, and so it is. You can put it under your jeans and your hoodie. You can wear it under your bibs. If you're deer hunting, you can put it on if you're on the front bow of a boat in the wintertime. If you're sitting outside on the deck in the wintertime with a fire pit and you're just hanging out with friends, you're
Yeah.
gonna be comfortable.
Yeah. And the can you
Oh,
talk
and
about
and on top of that, if you're going ice fishing up north, you put that on with our Mizu foul weather gear, and you're going to enjoy your day on the ice.
if I ever do that, I definitely got to have that.
Yeah.
I hate the cold. Can you talk about like how y'all designed on the Mizu suit? How you designed like the hood and stuff like that to where because what what y'all done to it is very
Very unique.
interesting
Very
because
unique.
you could have it on and be going down the lake, the river, whatever, and that how y'all designed it. The hood is staying right there on your head, and it's not how most of them just kind of blow out. And if
Yeah,
the hood
we
stays on,
Oh yeah. Well, what we did is we took being an outdoorsman, being a fisherman. I have fought that thing where you have to grab it and hold it to you till you get where you're going. If you're not the one sitting behind the console, you just got to make it there the best way you can. So, what we did is we took all of our cinch tools have got a cinch on it, so you just pull a string and it cinches up. Then we've got a Velcro strap at the back that pins that down to your head, and then it's got a about a 2.5 to 3 inch slot built into the hood. So if air does enter anywhere in the front, it's being forced to the back and it's exiting the top of that, and it's kind of just past the crown of your head. So the air will go in and exit out of that, and it doesn't blow up on you as you're going down the lake. So
right?
everything stays real nice, tight, and tucked to you. Even our hood has that insulating felt inside. It's we overbuilt those things and way underpriced those things based off of what the industry is. So you really
Yeah,
can't go wrong.
and in which guys, Norman and I got the opportunity to at ICAST. We got to spend a day in the booth uh, with Chad and stuff like. And so, and he had them there, and Norman and I were just oohing and ahhing over this, and we were going through the pockets and checking everything, trying to see like, all right, what is, all right, because you look at it, you can tell that it does not. And I'll pull up a picture again. Um, it it really does not look like your typical foul weather gear, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because most of the foul weather gear is kind of, to me, is bulky. That and how it kind of, to me, like, even it makes you kind of, makes me feel, especially the ones that I've got, makes me kind of feel like the Marshmallow Man. But and uh, seeing it in person and how everything just kind of is, it's not. I don't want to say that it's tight around you, because it's really not. Uh, it is a loose fitting jacket, but everything is kind of just together with it. Is
Yeah.
that, would that be a fair saying to say, Chad? Is that
Yeah,
it's not?
it is neoprene. Neoprene is, we build these things. They're built so that you're wearing them, not lugging them around,
Right.
and your pants aren't gonna sink below your heels on your shoes, and you're not gonna feel like you're way out here with all this extra baggage. You literally, it is a nice, tight, comfortable fit, but still has room to be loose, to cast all day, to draw your bow, to do whatever you need to do. But you're wearing it. You're not hauling it around.
Now,
Exactly.
if you go to YouTube and go to search CMB Bassin 1983 or my channel, which is normally fishing, we actually have a couple of full videos at iCast where Chad's actually talking about the suits, and you could actually watch the videos because you get the visual with the audio with Chad explaining the features on the suits as well, just like he's talking about the ventilation system on the hoodie, where he actually shows that during the video. So uh, you go to the YouTube channel and kind of watch the video, and it would he explains it, and you could actually get the visual because he's standing right there in front of the suit as he's explaining it. If you want to do that, just
And
to get an idea of what he's talking about as well.
and there's I think there's, let's see, one, four, five. There's six waterproof zippers on the outside. There's three pockets on the inside, but there's two pockets that most people don't know about, and I may have even forgot to tell y'all at ICAST. But when you have your bibs on, in the seam right here coming up the side, there's two pockets, so you can put your hands up here in the top of your bibs, and have, instead of having to stick them way down in your pants, you can just rest your hands right here while you're sitting around waiting. I love those two pockets more than any of them on the suit.
Oh man. Um, we got a question. Does the bibs have the double zipper too? Also.
Yes, the bibs have two-way zipper in the front that goes from the crotch to the top of the zipper, and it also has two-way zippers that run the full length of the thighs. They come up to just about where the pockets start on the side, so they'll zip all the way up, so you won't have to be. We made sure everything was going to be easy and comfortable, and I built them like I would want to buy something if I've got to put my legs with my shoes and boots and stuff in. I don't want to have to fight that leg all the way down. So we brought the zipper on up to the it comes to about the a little bit past the middle of the thigh. So it zips
Yeah.
up, but the front's got a two-way zipper in it as well.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was about to say. Also, when we got to see them in person, was the fact of, when you go and you put on any other foul weather gear and stuff like that, it's like a fight to try to, even if you don't take your boots off or your shoes off, it's a fight to get your leg down in them, and all that, and how the zipper and how it's made. I mean, it just, your foot would just slide right on in, and it's just an
Yeah,
easy.
so if you've got that tep suit on that's got a two-way zipper that goes all the way to the crotch, you've got that two-way zipper in your Mizu foul weather gear, so you don't have to, basically you don't have to remove anything to go to the bathroom. And I had, bless her heart, I had a lady say, "Well, what about the ladies?" And but they do make what's called a P style for ladies, so that they can still unzip that, don't have to expose themselves out in public if they're fishing off a boat. and they don't have to be get froze to death when it's cold outside if they need to go to the bathroom. But I will tell you guys, it is a weird feeling when your wife or girlfriend stands beside you and uses the bathroom. It's a weird feeling.
Well, the thing is we've got one of our good friends, Jennifer Muse, and we call her and her husband Dustin our Cornhusker family. So they're up in Nebraska. They need to definitely be checking this out because they get
Oh,
some
there's no
crazy
question.
weather up there.
Yeah.
Another question is warmth and flexibility and looks. You can't beat that. What about the durability? Any feedback yet on that?
Yeah, one of the things we did there's only one other company out there that builds a neoprene suit, and theirs is just the black neoprene that you see. I happen to own two pairs of them, and they're extremely expensive. You're looking at $700 for the bibs and the jacket, so they're 350 a piece. But and twice on the same pair, opposite legs, I have turned to do something and scratch up the side of it, and it tear it. The cool thing about what we did is because of that accident that I had in the same day, a tear on both legs, was that we went in and put that nylon fabric on the outside, and that gives that buffer so you're not going to be actually tearing the neoprene, or even if you sat down on a bench and it had a splinter in there, it's going to deflect that. So uh, we put abrasive knees in and we put abrasive butt in to ensure that those areas that are flexed and used the most, they have extra um, uh, safety stuff there to keep the use down. So I feel quite comfortable at putting this thing through any pace you want to put it in, and it come out on the other side just fine. So
Oh, I guarantee it. It's what, and we told you, Chad, when we seen it, or because we've known about it. Shoot, I guess right. What about a year or so that we've known about it,
yep.
and you sent us pictures of the demo, and the first thing Norman and I said is, "When can we get one?" So, but we it really, I mean, the pictures to me does not really do it justice. Um, just because when you see it in live in person, guys, you can tell the details that they've taken to be able to uh, that it's going to take one. They want to keep you dry and keep you warm, and you can look at it and say that, hey, this is top of the line.
Yeah.
We're not going to name any other foul weather
It
company,
really is top of the line.
but
Details and quality are just off the charts, and this is
right.
a suit that was thrown together overnight, man. And I mean, it was a long, drawn out process just to make sure it was right and make sure everything was good before you actually released it, to
Yeah.
orders and to
Oh
the shop.
yeah, we put it through some serious kind of paces before we brought it to market,
Yeah,
and it was the TEP suit took me about 9 months to 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 design them, and then I had to go back 6 times and change them because I thought of something that would make it better. I thought of something that would make it better. So they're extremely overbuilt. And same thing with our Mizzou foul weather gear. If that tep suit is one thing, that foul weather gear, that was a booger. Because some of these companies that do this clothing line stuff, they have computers and they have people that sit there and some clothing engineer. I don't know what to call them, but they've got all that software available that they can just click. But I had to do it manually. Everything I wanted, we put it in there, and then I kept thinking of little things and little things and little things that would make it even nicer for somebody. So, and ours aren't even near the cost of what some of those other ones are.
No.
So, we overbuilt what they have and put a fantastic product together, and then charged so much less for it because I want people to use it and be able to enjoy what they're doing. Their passion is being outdoors. So
Exactly.
go and enjoy it and not have to spend a fortune to do it. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
me.
Because fishing industry in itself is expensive, anyways,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I mean everybody that's on here watching this, I mean we've got almost 1,200 viewers right now watching it. And so everybody knows that. I mean, you go into a bait store, and if you come out with not spending 50, 60 bucks, you've done well with
Yes.
it. So, but the quality on it again, and like in within like even like the stitching and stuff, you can tell is a high quality stitching that it's not, you
You
don't have
you
to worry about anything.
you ought to see what they do with this neoprene. They have special sewing machines that sew everything, and if you did nothing else, it couldn't leak. But then we go in and we put this hot seam on there, and everything has to cure for like 3 days, and then we come in and put the sealer over it. Then it goes into a baking oven. Then it comes out and it's ready to go. But it goes through. We've got it set on 10 different flex tests for 15 minutes per one. Nothing that anybody else in the industry does. I do it just because I want to make sure that when it gets to you, you're not calling me saying, Chad, I got a hole in it or I got something. So we actually make sure they're right before they go out.
Yeah. Now, can you tell people, because I mean we've talked it up pretty well? Can you tell people how they can go about getting? Uh,
Sure. You can go to fireflymarine.com, go in the apparel section, and you'll take you right to the Tep suit or the Mizu foul weather gear. There is a sizing chart on those, and it's very specific. And here's the reason why. In order for this neoprene suit, whether it's the Mizu foul weather gear or the Tep suits, they have to fit you a certain way. You don't want something bulky hanging off of you. So they're very specific. Take time. Now, in the Mizu or in the Tep suit, your base layer suit, if that size, if your measurements say that you're a large, but your weight says that shows up that you're an extra large, get the extra large. They are weight sensitive to make sure that it's not going to squeeze you to death or it's not going to be hanging off of you. So if it says, okay, Colin, you're a medium, but your weight says by 15 pounds or so or whatever says that you're a large, get the large.
right.
Okay. And, but you can just go to fireflymarine.com. We got everything on there, our lights on there, our hats, our sweatsuits, our Mizu foul weather gear, our Tep suits. Everything that we build is to ensure that we're going to make their adventure outdoors much more enjoyable and pleasant and with no worries. It's another thing, we talk about it in fishing all the time when you start talking your rods and your reels and your line and your knots that you tie, anything you can do to eliminate something to have to wonder about or be concerned about, you're better off. And so when we're talking about the outdoors, as far as our lights go, and as far as our Tep suits and our Mizu foul weather gear, we've eliminated things that you don't have to worry about. You can put those on or put those in your boat or on your body and just go and enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, and that's the main thing about it is uh, that I mean that y'all are wanting. It doesn't matter what time of the year that it is. You want people just to be able to go out and be able to enjoy the time being out on the water or even outdoors. Um, so, but that's one
I,
thing, and you've pretty much covered being able to do that, especially with the lights, being able to fish underneath the full moon, not having the glare, and stuff like that, and the eye blindness, and then you move to the Mizu suits and the Tep suits, and uh, But
Well, I've got a new one for you.
oh
Our our
goodness,
our short stacker box.
that's
This
right.
is,
Oh
our
yeah.
short stacker box is the coolest little thing. We built this originally for bank fishermen to sit on the bank and be able to have that full moon light so that they can enjoy it. Plus, it can turn off. But here's a crazy thing: the top of that short stacker box is a tackle box. The underside of it, you can keep drinks, snacks, anything like that, but it runs off of your drill battery. You just take your battery that you got for your power tools and put the two prongs in there and set it in the box, and it's got a latching switch just like the back side of that bow light, and you just turn it on and off as you need it, and you can fish off the bank, you can surf fish. We've had guys put them in their kayak or their 10 unit that's older boat, their 10 unit, and they don't have all the wiring and bases and stuff, so they can use that as their navigational light. But we actually had somebody that said something to me here a couple of weeks ago and like the floor me. I would have never thought of it. But a guy from Texas bought one for him and his wife, and they bought another one box for his daughter and his son-in-law. And I said, "Oh, well, do y'all fish off the bank much? People are using them camping. It's just crazy. It lights up the whole entire campsite." And he said, "No, I'm actually going to put them in my pantry." And I said, "Your
Pantry.
your pantry?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, here in Texas, the power goes off all the time, so I can put it in the middle of the living room floor and light up the whole inside of my living room, kitchen, and dining room."
That is
And
a
I thought,
good idea.
I would have never thought about it. So these things are being used in so many different ways than I originally designed them for, and that's great. That
Yeah.
is, we had some older couples send a picture where they were at a campsite, and they always have a picnic table at the campsite. So they took this shore stacker box and put it up underneath the thing, and the boards had about an inch gap between them, and they run the pole down in the middle of it and raised it up, and they played cards all night long underneath this light on that.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
thought, well, that's
that's crazy.
fantastic.
Can you? How long will a battery last though? If you're using the drill batteries, how long will it last before you got to recharge that battery?
Well, we took when we did our test, our bulb that's in our stern lights are LED, but they also we wanted to find out how much battery consumption they were using out of your boat battery. So what we did is we took a 20-volt DeWalt battery. It was for my jigsaw and my skill saw, um, and it's one of the bigger ones. It's yay big and about that thick, and it ran it for 71 hours and 13 minutes. So if you take a 18 volt or a 12-volt battery, just a regular, real thin, just a regular small 18 or 12-volt battery, it'll run it for about 10 or 11 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that because we've done them at some of the trade shows. We just put a regular little battery in there, and it'll run it for about between 8 and 10 hours.
Right.
But if you use a bigger DeWalt or bigger, lithium 20-volt battery that goes in your power tools, if you think about it, 71 hours and 13 minutes. In the wintertime, it's going to get dark around 5:30. It's going to start getting light around 5. So you got about 10, 11 hours. Well, if you fished every single day for 7 days at 10 hours a day, that's 70 hours. You still got an hour and 13 minutes about that one battery still left.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just crazy.
that is
Now,
impressive.
now, see, because I was thinking of things of like because that refracting globe, I mean, it just amazes me on things. And so I'm like, all right, what can I tell Chad? Like, has he thought about doing this? And so I've thought of a couple of things. So first thing that I thought of, Chad, is these guys that that night fish and stuff like that, and they have the bobbers that light up. Have you thought about maybe using that refracting globe and making it into a bobber to where that is the bobber, is, have you thought of something like that?
And it,
Uh,
and
I
it'll do
can
it
honestly,
for the purpose. Doesn't only show you when a fish takes the bobber down, but it also is going to be a light attractant that draws the bait fish in, which will draw the fish in towards your bobber.
yeah, I honestly say I have not thought of that one. But what would be cool is if we did something like that and the fish took the bait and took it under, maybe it does underwater what it does before, and I can see how many other fish are all around him. But no, I have not thought about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey
Well,
Norman, what he's going to do then is
well,
he's just going to put some weight on the thing up and just drop it down into where.
I was going to say, well, that goes to tell me right there. Colin always says how hard he's working. Man, you have too much time on your hands to think of stuff like that. You're
Hey, when you grab a steering wheel for as long as I grab a steering wheel, you think of a lot of stuff. And so, but I was like, yeah, what if? I mean, because one, like you see them like in the red glove, like the red, just clear plastics, but
Yeah.
when like I've got a buddy that he uses them a lot, but like after a while, I mean, it's just like it, you really can't see them, especially if you like chunk them out there a ways. It's hard to see, but I know like with that globe, I mean, it will just, I mean, it'll brighten. I mean, there's no way you're not going to see it. And so I was like, man, that would be great as a
Well, it was
bomber.
one of those things you have to if you're building a lighted bobber, as we say in the South, like you're saying. I mean, you got to have a really good sealed unit to make
Yeah.
sure that the bulb that we would put in there would be fine. So, I mean, there would be some engineering. I mean, if people get on your site and say, "I think that'd be the greatest thing ever." If we could sell 12,000 units a month, I'd be like, "Okay, let's do it."
Let's do
But
it. Let's do it.
yeah,
We've already got two people say that's a great idea.
what would the royalties be, Chad, for Deck Talk Podcast?
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
So,
seeing
but
how Colin came up with it, he'd be most expensive, wouldn't he?
Yeah, right.
nah, I mean, because that's just, again, I grab a steering wheel and I'm driving for McKee Foods and stuff like that. When you're, and Chad, when you're out driving, you got nothing but time just to think. And so, and to me, that's when the best thinking is when, it's just you holding the steering wheel, looking out the windshield, And so
But
I was like,
I was coming back from a distributor show here in Orlando about 3 weeks ago, I guess now, and it's a 10.5 hour drive, and that's if you don't get any wrecks,
yeah,
involved in that time. And I got home and started to get out of the truck, and I realized in that 10.5 hours, I never once turned my radio on. I was in my head trying to think of different things, and before you know it, I was at the house, but I never turned the radio on.
well, you got an idea now. You got a bobber.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah, that stacker box.
Oh,
I,
it's
I
just
mean,
cool.
when to be honest with you, when you was explaining it to me, I don't know exactly what I was thinking, and it wasn't that.
Yeah.
And but when we seen it again at iCast, and I was like, that now it makes sense. And then just to see uh, how, I mean, you literally made it to where you can just put anything you want into it, and it's an easy carry. It's not bulky at
Well,
all.
no, it's not. It's little bitty, but then the handles have got two pins that pop out on it, so that it won't, as we say in the South, it won't tump out on you. All your stuff won't fall out of your box. But it also has a shoulder carrying strap, so
Yeah,
you can carry it on there, carry your chair, carry your light and your pole, and you're ready to go. You've got it all right there. So it's we were shocked. We went to a distributor show this past weekend in Gatlinburg, and we weren't think these things were going to be moving till March, April, when people are starting to think about starting to get back fishing, when it's starting to warm up just a little bit, at least here in the South, and but we sold almost 100 of them things down there this weekend. I think it was 70 something we sold, and I was just shocked. But we have
Yeah.
people ordering online constantly, if nothing else, for power outages, take them camping. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many uses for it. So, and which just it tickles us death because I love to see other ideas people come up with this. I think it's pretty
Well,
cool that all the other uses they found for them.
putting it at the campsite at the table, that one. I was like, that's a great. As soon as you said the table, I was like, I know where this one's going. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
mean it was cool, but they put it out probably 40 foot away from their camper, and it lit their whole camper up. That whole thing's way up in the trees, but there's no direct piercing light from our lights. It just kind of illuminates. You almost look around wondering where it's coming from,
yeah.
and then when you see the size of the bulb or the size of the globe, you're like, really, that thing does it, and it's non-blinding. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, but I told you the first time that I went out on a boat with Norman and had it on. I told you that I asked Norman. I was like, what's different? What is? I mean, it's not. It was not the normal lighting and stuff like that. I was like, I asked him. I said, what's different? He said, that's the FireFly lights and stuff. So, um, and
Yeah.
it does make a difference to where you notice it. It's not that. Yeah, I can kind of tell. It is you notice it right away that it's you've got a different light on there and what it does. It's just
Well, I
phenomenal.
mean, you don't even need your black lights anymore. If you're worm fishing, we used to have black lights so we could see our monofilament line and stuff. Look, I can take braid, fluorocarbon, mono, copolymer. It doesn't matter, and I can be on the side of my boat 30 foot away from the bank, and I can flip a worm up there. I don't need a black light because I can see it from my reel. I can see fluorocarbon go all the way up my rod, all the way down in the water. I can see it the full way just by our stern light. I don't need that black light anymore, and it really makes it nice.
Yeah, and you can look directly into it when you have the stern light on,
Yeah,
directly into it for a minute. I mean, and then look away. And
yeah,
immediately when you stare into it for 10, 15, 20 seconds and then immediately look away, you can see as good when you look away. You don't have that glaring in your
yeah,
eyes that you get with the other LED lights with just your regular clear plastic. That if you look
absolutely.
at it for 10, 15 seconds, when you look away, it's actually going to have a blinding effect. Where it
I,
kind of takes 30 seconds or 40 seconds for your vision to kind of come back. It's almost like looking
yes.
at a high beam going down the highway versus something that's not going to blind you with an oncoming traffic.
I've told people at shows and at distributor shows and public expos, I can literally stare at that light for as long as you want me to and turn around and I can count the individual leaves on the bank.
Oh yeah,
And I've had some guys be like, "No, dude, no, come on," and
Well,
but
but that video
they're
though,
the very ones that decided to take to buy it.
yeah.
And I get a phone call a week later saying, "You didn't lie to me one bit. I literally tried to do it." And I stared at that thing for 30 seconds and turned around and I could see every individual leaf on a bush or on the bank. He said, "You wasn't lying." I said, "No, I wasn't." And
well, the
so,
sad thing though is that once they got past their hands and toes, they couldn't count anymore though.
yeah, but I mean, it literally it literally will do what we're saying it'll do, and it to this day, and I've had it out on the boat for 5-6 years now that we've had it to market, and I still, even if I'm fishing by myself at nighttime, I'll get cracked up and start smiling because I'm like, I still can't believe this light does this. I mean, it's just I still get amazed by it.
Yeah. Well, see, I got a buddy, uh, and I'll have him send me a picture of it of what he done with his. He's actually he has bought three of them over the years, and uh, and so what he done is he fishes a lot in the nighttime, but like his and he how he explained is like his trailer lights when he backs the trailer up into the water. Um, his trailer lights are really not that bright, so he wired them to where they're on the side of his trailer to where and when he's backing down in, he's got those lights up and it just lights up. He's got two of them on the back of his trailer to where he knows he
Oh
can just.
wow,
So
that's wild. I love to see people be innovative with them and try different things with it. I think there's so many applications. There was a lady asking me, could I take our light that's on our stern light and turn them upside down and make it on a. You seen these people that put these lights on their porch? And she
yeah,
was wanting me to build a rope of these lights to put around her boathouse. And I'm like, yeah, well, I ain't thought about that, but maybe I guess we probably could. So, yeah.
yeah. So oh man, we've already got you on for an hour and 6 minutes.
Wow.
So,
I'm,
but
it's been fun, though.
oh yeah, and it's just the thing about it is, I mean, we can just keep on chit chatting, and I mean, it don't have to be about Firefly or anything like that. It's just we've we've been on the phone chit chatting just about fishing, and the time just, I mean, it just goes,
I
and so,
know
but
it.
Chad, man, we definitely love using your products,
Thank you.
and that's why we love to promote you because we know that you are you're a man of your word, and if it's messed up because of what the product has done, that we know that you're going to take care of it, and it's not
Absolutely.
just with us; it's with anybody that buys it from you. Um, but and we know the quality of the stuff that you use for your product is, I mean, top of the line, going from your nav lights to the stacker boxes and everything, Mizu suits and stuff, that it is top of the line. And I mean, the price that you put on these things, I mean, is really a bargain. I mean, especially when you look at what it does and compare. I mean, the nav lights, you cannot compare the nav lights to any,
No, you
but
can't.
the foul weather gear, you can compare apples to apples with it. And the top of the line that compares to this is way, I mean, almost double the price of what you have. So, guys, we
Yeah.
do want you to go and check it out. And we want you to prove us wrong about these lights. If you don't like them, I guarantee you, I will buy them from you. I mean, I mean, because that's how strongly I believe is. I mean, I will. I'll pay. I'll I'll buy them from you. I mean,
We
because
we've never had anybody that's gotten them said, well, they're okay. They're always over the top. They're like, this is just, man, these things are just sick. So we've never had anybody say they're just okay.
And
yeah,
just like the Mizu suits with the navigation lights, attention to detail is just unprecedented. They're not like your other navigation lights, and as soon as you get it, you look at it, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. So we are very uh, uh, we are very encouraging to get out and try them because what we tell you is exactly you will love them, and we're so
hey,
confident in that yeah, just like Colin said, he'll buy him if not, but that's how confident we are in that you will love him. I mean, you're not going to buy another brand once you try the Firefly
well,
light.
And Chad, let's do, if you don't mind, let's plan sometime uh, to where we can go. I mean, we'll come down to you and let's plan like to go and do maybe like a little bank fishing or something like that. And let's take the stacker box out to where we can shoot a video with the stacker box because guys, I guarantee you, I mean, we're going to be able to shoot this without having any other kind of lighting around. We're going to be able to go and we'll film us fishing for a little bit with it, and just so y'all can kind of get an idea on it as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I look
So
forward to that.
yeah, that's going to be fun. And the guys that are local, well, I won't say that. I'll let them say it when at the beginning of the year. So because I don't want them to go in. Well, maybe they need to, but uh, I can just say that it's going to be at the beginning of the year that stacker box is going to be here locally. Is what I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We're in the process of talking to a couple shops. So
yeah, which we've
Fantastic.
already a couple of them's already said. Just hey, let me get through, and at the beginning of the year we're going to get some.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so like I said,
Fantastic.
Chattanooga, Cleveland, up here where we are, we might be getting them in some of the tackle shops here probably after the first.
yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
No problem. But guys, we're going to get off here.
Yeah.
And
Real quick before we do, Colin, a little bit of a a short promo for next week's show, guys. You don't want to miss it again. We are on every Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss next week's episode. We're going to have our guest next week is going to be Chris Lane, Bassmaster Classic champion, Bass Pro Tour pro with a Major League Fishing. But it's going to be a great episode. You don't want to miss.
yeah. So and then we're going to get to talk to him about the new rule changes that the MLF has done that just released here yesterday.
Yeah.
So, but Chad, brother, man, we love having you on. Thanks for coming on here, being our first repeat.
Oh, wow.
Coming
Been a
on.
pleasure, man. Been a pleasure, Chad. Always is, man.
Well,
Hanging with
but
you and some good talking.
hey, I always love deck talk, and I'm just so thankful for you guys for inviting me to come on again. It's always fun. I can't wait till we can do it again.
Oh yeah.
Most definitely are. Yes, sir.
So, but guys, we're gonna get off here. I'm gonna grab me something to eat, like always, and I gotta go pick up my brother-in-law here. Let's see what time is it. Here in about 2 hours, I gotta pick my brother-in-law up.
All
So,
right, guys.
but Chad, thank you again, and we'll keep in contact with you because I definitely want to do that video with the stacker box. That'd be great.
Sure, absolutely.
So, guys, make sure you stay tuned to next week. And we got Chris Lane again coming on and talking about a hammer. And so let's go. Make sure you go to FireFlyMarine.com. Use that discount code DeckTalk10. Order you everything that's on his website.
Yes,
Order it
yes.
all. So, but real quick, Chad, before we let you go, if they order it online, can you tell them about the time period about getting the Mizu suits and the?
It depends on time of year. We're trying to build those inventories, so it's not like we got massive amounts of inventory. So when they order, it's probably going to take 3 weeks or so to get it in. And if they'll bear with me, it'll be worth their wait.
Yes.
It's just as the way things are, you don't want to put all your capital in inventory at one time. So we just kind of gradually getting things built up. So if they can just bear with me for a little bit, but we're going to take care of them. They'll be glad they did.
Yeah. And that was one reason why I wanted, because I knew that with us talking before that you said that it is a little bit of time period. And I just
Yeah.
didn't want people to order it or to think that they can order it like they do with the lights and then it gets shipped right back out. So,
Right.
um, but guys, again, everything that they have on their website, you are going to be impressed with. It is top notch quality and guarantee you're going to love it. So, we will see you next week at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard with Chris Lane. And hope to see you out on the water, guys.
The passion, tight lines.